The Cheeseboy 628 Show, starring Cheeseboy 628.
Hey YouTube, what's going on? This is Cheeseboy628 here today, giving you an NU tier Wi-Fi battle. And yeah, as you may have noticed, this is the team that I just love using. Got my defensive core of Almamole and Licky Licky, got my Scarf Rotom Fly, got my Gut Swallow, defensive Torkoal, and Iron Fist Expert Belt Golurk. Now looking at my opponent's team, I see a ton of physical threats. The only special threat really is Jinx, which Licky Licky is going to have a very easy time with walling. But Almamole is definitely going to have to do a ton of work this game, trying to take on all of those physical pokes, and hopefully I'll just get some time to get my Rotom Fly and Swallow to get some momentum and take out those more offensive pokes. So yeah, let's see how this battle goes. So thinking he's probably going to start out with Kangaskhan, I'm going to come in with my Almamole, and I'm thinking I'm just going to wall it as pretty easily. So I'm just going to go for the Toxic right off the bat, and turns out it has Substitute. So that definitely tells me it's going to be a Sub-Punch variant. So I'm not too worried still though, because Kangaskhan can't set up, so Almamole can really wall it for days. So I'm just going to take this opportunity to start setting up some Calm Minds and eventually be able to break its sub. And so the return isn't doing too much, it's going to do slightly more than Focus Punch, which is why it's going for it. But yeah, Almamole is taking the hits pretty easily. I'm going to go for Wishes just to be safe so I don't get too low of health, and I will start Calm Minding as well. So eventually I'll be at enough to break the sub, but it turns out he's just switching out right now because he knows that I can eventually get to +6 and potentially just stall out everything. Not sweep, because of course Almamole doesn't have an amazing special attack stat. But it turns out this Serperior is actually a defensive variant with Sub-Leech Seed, I'm guessing. I see the Leech Seed, and that's usually how they carry it. So I'm going to go for the Toxic though, which is going to be very nice because now it can't sub down, because that will definitely lower its survivability. But now he goes into his Jinx, and I definitely can't stay in, and I really can't bring in my Torkoal for rocks because there's so many things it can do. It can sub, it can nasty plot, I just can't stay in. So go to Licky Licky, unfortunately that's my Cleric, so now it's asleep and I'm just going to have a bunch of trouble. Now here's the thing, I go into Rotom Fly and it turns out for some reason Shadow Ball didn't salve on. So I'm just going to have to go for a bunch of Volt Switches and hope I can take it out. And thankfully it looks like I can KO with the T-Bolt from that range, but I had to sack Swallow unfortunately, so unfortunately that Swallow doesn't get do any work, but Rotom Fly comes in, able to take out the Jinx, so that's the only special threat and it's gone. But I am locked in T-Bolt, I have to switch out. I'm going to go into Almamole, and he's going to go for the EQ, and it does a decent amount. So I do notice its Life Orb, so it's definitely offensive obviously. But yeah, I need to be careful at how much Almamole can take. Basically I'm just hoping that it can survive this next hit and get the Wish off and go for the Scald. So I'm just really hoping, come on Almamole, you can take a hit, right? Please, 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 no. And unfortunately my Wish goes to waste and Almamole's gone, so that was probably a pretty bad plan on my part. Now the thing is, I really can only hit with Air Slash since I don't have Shadow Ball. But now he goes into Rapidash, I guess just foddering it off. It's a critical hit, but it doesn't really matter since I'd KO the next turn. So now he brings in Kangaskhan. I'm not worried because there's no way it carries Fake Out. And it turns out he's just going to go for the Substitute. I don't want this thing setting up with Substitute, that's why I go for the Air Slash. Now I am going to switch out, just go into Torkoal because I see this as an opportunity to get my rocks up, as Kangaskhan can't really touch me. So I will go for the rocks next turn I believe, and then I'll be able to eventually take out that Substitute with a couple of EQs. Turns out he just goes right into Golurk, and I actually go for the Earthquake right now because I'm thinking I don't want it subbing down and eventually wearing me away. And now that Golurk is in though, and it's Life Orb, I definitely don't think I can take a hit. And he makes a nice prediction and goes for the Shadow Punch, and Rotom takes it pretty well actually. I was kind of surprised since I have very low HP. But anyway, he's going to bring in Swallow now, and I don't want Rotom to potentially take a quick attack as I don't think it can take it that well. Turns out he just goes for the Facade, and he's actually going to not touch my Golurk of course, since I'm going to switch in and just play a bit of mind games with him. I'm going to go out to Torkoal because I know it can take a hit and the Brave Bird will just give him some more recoil. So Toxic plus Brave Bird is going to be pretty nice. I'm thinking that he's going to predict my Golurk switch, which is why I stay in, but nonetheless I'm able to get my rocks up and survive. So here I'm thinking, should I switch out to Golurk or should I just fodder off my Torkoal? Turns out he goes for the Brave Bird, so it was good just foddering off my Torkoal here. And now I have a free switch in a Rotom Fly. I can just go for the Volt Switch, gain some momentum. Since Golurk is gone, I can Volt Switch as I please. Now somehow I survive this quick attack. And so now I'm thinking this is definitely a great opportunity for me because everything's just going in my favor. The Swellow's gone, he's pretty much out of threats, and he goes into his Superior here. I'm kind of scared of the Giga Drain, even though it can probably live and just retaliate with the Ice Punch. But to be safe, I'm going to go into Licky Licky. It is my special wall. I can wall the Superior for days. It's going to go for the Leech Seed, but I'm not even worried because Toxic will eventually take it out and override the Leech Seed recovery. So I'm just going to stay and hope I can wake up eventually and then start going for Body Slams, going for some wishes just to stall this thing out because really it's not even a threat, but I just want to wear it down as soon as possible. So he's going to switch out to his Kangaskhan now, maybe an opportunity to go for the substitute, but knowing that he's going to do that, I'm actually going to switch out to my Rotom fan here and able to go for a couple T-Bolts or Air Slashes, but it turns out its final move is Sucker Punch. Wasn't really thinking that he was going to carry that, but he does, and so I just need to hope that Golurk can take a hit. I am just going to be able to go for the Drain Punch. It's super effective, does a bit more than EQ because it is Iron Fist boosted plus Expert Belt, and so this Kangaskhan has to hope that it can take me out with the Sucker Punch. So let's see how much it does. I'm guessing the Kangaskhan is probably Adamant Max Attack, and it turns out it's hardly a 2-hit KO. So I am able to take it. I go for the Ice Punch just in case he tries to switch out to Superior. Now I'm just in with Golurk, and I don't really want it to get any recovery from Giga Drain, so I'm just going to go back to Licky Licky, and all that's left for me to do is just stall this thing out until it dies from Toxic. So it's going to Leech Seed me. It'll get a bit of recovery back, but Toxic will eventually take it out, and he will realize this in a few turns, and he's just going to run. But it was still a great match, and I was definitely pretty much down to the wire. He made some nice predictions. I made some pretty dumb plays when it came to that, but I was able to survive in the end. Thankfully, Rotom was able to take some hits. I was definitely surprised for that. So unfortunately, Almamola kind of failed me this game, but it's alright because Licky Licky did work. Everyone did work, but Almamola's kind of being lazy, but that's alright. Here he sees that I have the Wish, so that's basically when he realizes that it's over because now I can just Wish Stall while the Toxic is definitely going to drain him out. As you see, it's probably doing like 18% by now. He's going for the Giga Drain, trying to get some recovery, but of course after this turn, all of the Wish recovery is going to go back to me, and that Crit Body Slam is definitely going to tell him that Superior is not going to have a chance. So I'm going to get some lefties, and he's going to get some Leech Seed, but now the Toxic is just wearing him down as he's extremely low on health now, and so he's going to run. So that was a great game, Manjoyt. You made some pretty great predictions, that's for sure. So yeah guys, thank you all for watching. I hope my mic quality is getting better. I'm just trying to figure this thing out. I'm trying to do some things with like resonance and stuff like that, but it's just making me a bit echoey. So I think this is good. There's a bit of white noise in the background, but it should be alright. You guys can let me know what you think. So yeah guys, thank you all for watching. Like, comment, sub, and until later, peace.